Hi everyone, Stacy here, and as promised we're going to do a tour today of my tiny home. But first I wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the encouragement and awesome comments that you left when I posted that post. And just to let y'all know, this is the first video on my YouTube channel. I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel for a while, and all your comments were the catalyst that I needed to get started. So this is the very first episode. We're going to call it episode 1, and I promise that there's not going to be Jar Jar Binks in this episode. This channel is going to focus on country living, outdoor life, and goats, because I have goats and goats are awesome. So again, thank you guys so much for the encouragement. Please come back and see what videos we have in the future, and don't forget to subscribe. So 2 years ago I bought this property. It's 6 acres, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It had an old, dilapidated, falling down building on it. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and everything was covered with kudzu and all overgrown, and it really didn't look like much. There was already an outbuilding on the property that had water and electric run to it because there used to be a washer and dryer inside. I took out all the old barn wood and the cool pieces that I might use for projects in the future, and when I got tired of taking out the pieces, I burnt the rest of the building down. But I could see all through that, and I saw the potential the property had and just how majestic this place could be. This morning when I went outside to let the goats out, it was just a little bit of fog over on the mountainside, and it looked magical just seeing the sun coming up. We walked down this road I made on the property that goes from the front to the back. And to the right there's the neighbor's cow field, and that's where the sun comes up, and the sun was going through the trees, so you could see like all the shadow lines and sun lines from the fog and the light, and it was really cool looking. It's just kind of like a magical place back there. I haven't lived here long, but I've seen it snow here, and when everything gets covered, it is just like a winter wonderland. Come down here, Lily. Come here, Lily. A lot of you guys really liked my bookshelf and wasn't sure that it would fit good in the tiny home, but you can see that there's plenty of space here. It's a combo unit: bookshelf, entertainment center, and desk. Plus some of my favorite reads. Back to the Land, The Encyclopedia of Country Living, Edible Wild Plants, Backyard Medicine, The Great Outdoors Cookbook. Somebody had a comment and said that you shouldn't have a candle in your bookshelf burning like that, and she's absolutely right. So if you have a candle in your bookshelf, take it out and light it somewhere else. When I ordered this building, I ordered just the shelf from this company that I'm not going to mention because I was a little bit disappointed in the way that it arrived. There were several issues, but there was 122 nails that were missing the studs. So I had some sheathing on the outside that was loose away from the studs because there were several nails in a row up and down that weren't even hitting the stud on the inside. I did call the company, and they came out and fixed some of the issues, and what they did to solve this issue was just snip these nails, so it left the paneling loose on the outside. I had to take some polygrip, not polygrip, that's denture glue, gripper, power grab, it was power grab. I had to use power grab on the edge of the studs on both sides to keep the sheathing from moving at all. There's probably about a dozen or 20 nails that I can see from looking at the roof that weren't covered by shingles. The good thing is when you order one of these shelves, you can have the windows placed wherever you want. When I built the kitchen, I knew I was going to have limited cupboard space, so I built this as a pantry and a coffee tea curio. My friend Christy gave me this like a dozen years ago, and it boils water, so I could use a French press. I don't know what you guys like to use, but I ran electric under here. You can't see it, it's hidden under here. I really like how this turned out. It took me just one day to do the whole thing, and I made metal panels down here for the doors, and this is from an old goat barn that I had. This fridge I got from Home Depot. It's kind of like a small apartment fridge, but it's got plenty of space in here for me. And these cabinets I bought unfinished at Home Depot as well. This cabinet I had to resize so the fridge could fit underneath, so I ended up cutting the box and cutting the door and mending it back together basically. There was only a few things in this house where I would sacrifice a little bit of space to get what I wanted, and one of the things I wanted is a double sink that was deep enough where I could wash crock pots and my big pans because I cook at home a lot. While we're over here, let me show you guys this. I built a shoe rack right next to the door. It does stick out a little bit past the door, but that's just because I do have the dishwasher, and as you can see, these cabinets pretty much bump against each other, plus the dishwasher, and that's all the space that I have to come out for the shoe shelf. But check this out, this is really cool. This is a UV light desanitizer for your shoes and smelly boots. So you just pop those little babies in there and it'll stay on for about 15 minutes. It creates a little bit of ozone and the UV light kills all the germs and whatnot. This countertop I made out of conventional 2x10s and 2x12s, and I planed them down thickness wise to 1.25 inches, and what that does, it took off the roundness of the edges. That way they were able to be joined side by side. And I used wood glue to join them with some pocket hole screws, and then stained everything and put a couple layers of epoxy on the top. When the epoxy was dry, I sanded it down with 200 grit sandpaper, and it gave me this kind of like a matte finish instead of a glossy shine, which I don't like. Because I don't have much for cabinet space, I built in a storage area up here above the kitchen. A lot of people were asking about a washer and dryer, and again, I forfeited a little bit of space to have what I wanted. I put a full-size washer and dryer in here because I do construction and I'm always getting dirty out with the animals or just playing outside, so I really wanted to have something that'll hold a significant amount of laundry and not something that was just going to do maybe 3 pairs of jeans and that's it. As you can see in the bathroom, I picked out an arched mirror because I have arched doorways here. This is a 2-panel doorway with an arch on the top. Got a little pedestal sink. It's about 19 inches wide and it fits perfectly between the shower and this other wall here. These glass doors and the pan I had ordered from Home Depot as well. I installed the shower head a little bit higher than normal because a lot of conventional homes have the shower so dang low that the water hits you right in the middle of the neck. I also made a tile inset for soaps and shampoos and all that fun stuff. You can see the toilet is a normal size. It's just a regular round toilet, and that fits perfectly in that corner as well. I had to tear up all the flooring and install drain lines and a supply line for the water. This is the bedroom. It is pretty spacious, and something I forgot to mention is when you order these buildings, you can order them with a taller roof line for an extra couple $100. A lot of them have that barn style roof, and it comes down to about 6 foot. But if you talk to the people that make these buildings, they'll raise it up just a little bit to 8 foot, and you can even have a peaked roof like this here. As I mentioned on that post, this is the only thing that I didn't install. It's the split unit. It does the air and the heat, and it's efficient enough to warm this whole place pretty good. I think it's rated for 400 square feet, and this is only about 300 square foot. It has dehumidify, heat, and air, and I guess it works off a heat pump. But this was installed by Gillis Heating and Air, so a shout out to them. Let's see what's behind door number 1. This is just a normal closet, but instead of having a dresser in this room to occupy space, what I did was build shelves in here to put my folded stuff, like my jeans and whatnot. And over here is just a hanging area for my shirts, shoes, hats go up there on the top. So this door here I had a lot of questions on. A lot of people thought this was another outside access, but it's another storage area. I originally built this to house all the bathroom stuff because I knew I was going to be limited in space, but it turned into a storage area for coats and belts and other miscellaneous things. This is a full-size bed, not a king, not a queen, but it's plenty of space for me. I built this little nightstand out of the cutout for the kitchen countertop, so that's what this is. And I love this spot here because when I wake up, I can look out the window and see my goats. Thank you guys so much for all your kind compliments, and please subscribe. This is the very beginning of a new YouTube channel, and I'd like to try to keep providing you guys with some cool content with outdoor life, country living, and goats. So remember, subscribe. The next video I'm going to do is going to cover all the finishes, colors, equipment, appliances, and stuff like that that I've used inside this tiny house, because a lot of y'all had questions about that stuff. Thank you again so much, and I'll see you next time.